ozone shadows all mass destruction.
Welcome back, episode, whatever episode this is. I think 106. 106. Hey, I was right. We are getting to one of these stupid freebie revisitors we were giving out like candy for whatever reason like a year ago. We are talking about now I gotta actually go back to the thing. Persona 3 is an overrated disaster by, I think, Simply Dad.
Yep.
One of them, again, never heard of them except outside of the context of, hey, check out this Persona video because it's real bad. And here we are. Description, boys?
It's not even worth talking about.
Wow, that's crazy!
Yeah, it's my birthday today. Everybody say happy birthday. I woke up at 3 a.m. and didn't stop working on this till like 10 a.m. But I hate Persona 3. I'm sick of it. I don't even want to see it or hear its music or play it ever again. I don't care. I'd literally rather play Persona 5 or Persona 4 again.
What's that even mean?
I woke up at 3 a.m. and didn't stop working on this till 7 a.m. That's 7 hours. That's nothing. Oof. This seems like this is dumb. No elaboration. Yeah. Moving on.
It can't be. We can't allow this. 4 hours for a 40-minute video? I hope he's just talking about the scripting itself and not all the recording and the other stuff. Because I don't see how you can, in 4 hours. Even then,
7 hours.
What, he said
3 to 7. I mean, not 3 to 7. 3 to 10.
Oh, I thought he said 3 to 7. That's my bad. Even 7 hours. That's not enough time unless you just finished playing the game, like in a long marathon, to be able to effectively collect your thoughts on everything you've played in this 60-hour playthrough.
Something like a rant, that's something different, but if it's a structured, but if it's a rant, it's gonna be more stream of consciousness. This sucks. I hated this social link.
Maybe it's a structured rant, at least, where I have these talking points and in the wrestling fashion, I could just go off of these talking points instead of the specifics of whatever I want to talk about. There's only one way to know.
What did you think of 3?
3, I believe, has the best story overall of all the Persona games. At least thematically the best. Some of the characters, I just whatever. But overall, I liked it. I'd probably give it like a 6.5, 7 maybe. I'm not a huge fan of P3, but I like it enough.
Yeah. That's about where I am. It also helps that I play portable. Vanilla, I'd probably go down. But yeah, we'll talk about the specifics and stuff. But yeah, it's a good game.
It's a good game.
Again, I was going into it like, okay, let's see what the argument could be.
Isn't that what you typically do when you find a new, when we're about to do a revisited? If it's something we know what's coming up, it's just like, hey, let me reread Whole Cake Island to see what the arguments could be. Whereas I just reread it.
Lion King. Let's see what the arguments could be. It's going into like a more critical eye instead of just going into it and it's like, okay, let's see what I would pick up. It would like, bam, doesn't make sense. Instead of just going.
But that's a problem because what you think doesn't make sense.
No, absolutely.
Has a better chance of being a logical, this does not make sense or this is a problem than your typical layperson video analysis person. From what we see.
I'm about to say, we don't know anything about Simply Dad.
That's exactly just from what we consume through this channel.
We need to talk to Riderman because this was his video.
Yeah. We'll do it after.
No, clearly after. It's not gonna be here now.
We'll in fact, I'll DM him and just be like, do you want to say anything about the video? And then I can add it for when it releases on Thursday or Friday.
And that would be Didn't you put it in the beginning
for Gavin? And I just went, it's right here.
And that's what it's going to be like that, so I'm assuming?
Yep, it's right here.
I don't agree with that, or I agree with that perfectly.
I disagree with your disagreement of that thing.
And
or I fully agree with your disagreement of that thing. Thank you very much. Yeah, unless we are vamping a little bit more, we can just get into it.
We can just go. I'm very curious about this.
That can't be right. That can't be right.
What?
That it was cut off like that? That can't be right, can it?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's correct.
It's cut off like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Huh. No, it wasn't cut off like that, I don't think.
No, it absolutely was.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I guess that's the funny. Let's actually move this out the way.
All right, intro over. And go. And we got it. This is 8 words.
Yo, that's a 20 seconds on this bush.
Yo, this game sucks ass. So in the past 2 videos I made about Persona, all I really realized is that Persona fans can't read. And that Twitter.com is...
Go, wait.
What's that?
Go back.
Oh, sorry, I was in the middle of something.
No, just to the...
Persona fan...
Spoilers.
The spoilers.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah.
And
thank you for the spoiler warning. I wish you do a spoiler warning before saying spoiler, like when you said Blank dies, that pretty epic video. Probably should have made a spoiler alert for potential newbies. Bro, put somewhere that this contains spoilers.
read. And that Twitter.com gets real mad whenever...
Saying Modern Persona is bad and backpedaling on that sentiment with a P4 is a timeless classic vid is exactly the snake-like energy you'd expect from Simply that.
He's got a bad reputation. My goodness.
I breathe in their direction. And if these motherfuckers got mad at me for saying that Persona 4 ain't that bad, but it's still pretty damn bad, then man, I can't wait to see what the fuck they gotta say about this shit.
Is this another young Defiant ripoff? I can't wait to see how I trigger more of these people with these takes. I don't give a make your arguments. Just the fun of, oh, y'all suck and y'all so mad. I will never understand it.
Talk about what you want to talk about, though, absent of everybody else.
It's crazy.
Honestly, if I've been saying I hated Modern Persona for this long,
apparently all the cutscenes and openings are being flagged for demonetization, so I gotta do this stupid with color. Sorry.
Modern Persona for this long, it's literally no surprise to anybody that I think Persona 3 is by far one of the worst Mega 10 games I've touched, if not one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life.
I don't see how unless you played very few games.
That's what I'm instantly going to his channel. He's got so few videos. Shin Megami, Persona, Catherine, Persona, Shin Megami. Saying that it's one of the worst games that you've ever played in your life doesn't mean too much when we don't know what you've played. So
finally found Riderman.
Right down there with Sonic Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
I don't really play a lot of bad games. If
Whoa.
you couldn't tell. You know, I've been...
So it means nothing.
It means literally nothing. If you play nothing but 9 and above games, an 8.5 game is the worst game you've ever played, or amongst the worst games you've ever played. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game. So again, I would like to see the points of why. I agree with a lot of things you said, but how come you haven't touched upon the theme of fighting the truth? You don't
have to.
Finding Izanami and the true ending through thinking out of the box is still one of my favorite moments ever. Starting to think that Persona maybe just isn't for you. I love P3, 4, and 5, and I think you have some really great points on this video, but I still prefer Persona 4, 5 Royal. Also, I liked how you played Heaven when talking about Nanako. I think the best point is out of the next
I'm reading all the comments I've been getting on my recent videos.
That.
And there's a gang of people in there trying to compare the games I like to Persona 3, or say that the only good modern Persona game is 3. And from what I can understand, y'all think this is the best Persona game because it's got the best writing, the best characters, and the best plot. And you know, sometimes even if I don't agree with people's opinions, I just assume that maybe they see something I don't in the games that I don't like particularly. But this time I was just looking at my screen like, bitch, what? This is straight up probably the hardest video to write for, since the core issues I got with Persona 3 are so basic, so astonishingly apparent. First time I played the game all them years back, I already seen issues with the game, and replaying the game now with—
Can't he just get into the issues? Instead of just saying there's a lot of issues that are basic, and if you just paid attention, you too would see the issues.
Friends who don't even know shit about Persona or Megami Tensei in general, they already see the issues with the game.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Anecdotal evidence means nothing, because I could find some people that don't know anything about Shin Megami Tensei games, and they could go, wow, this looks great.
And
what's the difference?
Issues with the game for people that don't know about the game. What did they do? Did they play all the game? Did they play through something that you said, hey, play this, and then they went, wow, that sucks, as you presented it as they're gonna hate this thing? What? Again, that means nothing to say that some people found flaws in this, even though they don't know about Persona.
The hardest part for me right now is trying to figure out a real proper way to get into this whole discussion. You feel me? And
do it.
I don't really know where to start.
The beginning.
All right. Anime. I've seen a lot of—
No f***ing way is this just about, oh my god, weeaboos and the cartoon.
The waifus and—
It can't be.
And it's a fantasy in high school and— oh boy.
People ask me why I don't like anime. I thought I made this shit pretty obvious at this point.
Pause. No. Here comes the broad generalizations. Oh my goodness. Melodramatic. Oh.
Now, you don't know that's the direction he's going. Maybe he's talking about the cyclical character writings or story beats. Those types of things. Maybe he's presenting something a little bit more nuanced, if you will. I'm using all the words.
Like, I make it pretty damn clear that when I say anime, I mean the shonen anime power of friendship, you're the good guy, they're the bad guys type shit. Top it off with a creepy anime girl dating
but what's the issue? What's the problem?
What's the problem with a good guy versus bad guy? And power of friendship? Who gives a shit?
What have you seen? Other than, it sounds like you know of fairy tales.
Yeah, basically.
And why would you say, man, y'all know how I feel about anime, but when I say anime, I mean shonen anime, the power friendship. Okay, so
they know what you mean when you say anime, but it's specifically this thing that I guess they didn't know if they gotta keep asking you, why don't you like anime?
It's so small of a genre within anime to be like, when I mean anime, I mean this.
I don't like music, and when I say music, I mean
country music.
Only country music, obviously.
Wait, how are we supposed to?
So when I badmouth music, just know I only mean country music. I thought I made that obvious.
Isn't that clear? When I say music, I mean this music?
Jesus, how stupid are y'all?
How do you feel about the other musics?
Musics! Not genre, the other musics!
top it off with a creepy anime girl dating sim type shit.
Why is it creepy?
Yeah, what's creepy about it? These are two teenagers within the same age bracket. If you want to talk
Do
about
you think a movie that explores teenage love is creepy when you watch it?
If you were to talk about this, maybe you should have gone to something creepy and pulled an anime and be like, this is creepy because this individual is underage and this individual is not. But just going, this is creepy as this in equal age pairing is going on.
Sexualizations of said little girls. I don't fuck with that shit, bro. Like the shitty ass sense of humor that boils down to,
Oh, sure.
whoa, look at this anime girl naked. It's funny because it's perverted. Whoa, this girl got
Yeah,
really
sure.
close to me. Haha, isn't that wacky?
But that wasn't what that scene was.
Absolutely not. They were both confused in the situation.
And brainwashed, and then they snapped out of it. It was like, oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, this is the one you should just point to.
But it's a joke. You move on. You like it. You laugh. You don't. Keep it rocking.
It's a problem at this point. It's every in Persona game.
Yeah.
comes across to me as super lazy, since literally every single one of these games uses this kind of humor. Every single time I've...
Okay, it uses this type of humor, but how much of the humor that is derived in the game is this specific thing? Because if you're just going, oh, it's super lazy humor because they all use it, that's like saying that Three Stooges is super lazy writing because it uses physical humor. That means nothing to me. You gotta come a little bit more with that part.
talk shit about anime in these games, calling them generic and tropey. I've made damn sure to show what the fuck I don't like.
It doesn't. Generic means nothing. Yeah. Tropey means nothing. As long as you're doing something good with the genericness or the tropiness.
And what's the generic and what's the trope here? I'd like
perverted.
But again, like you said, it's 5% of the jokes.
Yeah,
but I guess I'm being intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, exactly. You could say if a trope has been used well, of poorly, I guess, or poorly. But saying the Atlas games he likes don't have tropes, and the ones that he doesn't like are too anime, is being intellectually dishonest with himself and his audience. If you say that specific thing, it is intellectually dishonest. But if this person is just kind of paraphrasing or drawing their own conclusions, then no, that's not intellectually dishonest.
And to respect the intelligence of my audience, and hoping that when I say anime shit and show the anime shit, that they pick up on what the fuck I'm talking about.
No, see, that's
you can't
now
leave it to
that's
your
their
audience.
interpretation of what you meant by that thing.
And everybody's going to have a different interpretation. Somebody might implant what they don't like about anime within that thing. When you say, oh, this anime bullshit. If you would say shonen bullshit, just blanket statement, some people could pull the power of friendship. Some people could pull plucky, young, hungry, young man with a dream. Anything can be extrapolated like that.
You know, I'll make sure from now on that I break down every single point to an insultingly basic degree, just so some folk don't get confused no more, you know?
Okay, cool. It's good to explain what you mean.
So people don't get confused.
Yeah, don't put it on people like, oh, you guys are getting confused when I say anime tropes.
When I specifically mean the Shonen Jump trope.
You guys don't know exactly what I mean when I say this. Oh, no, I don't.
Don't want to be a snake. Low-key, I think that could actually sum up my feelings on Persona 3 pretty perfectly. Insultingly basic. You know, a while ago, I made a...
Not everything needs to be some type of complex, deep lore of a type of thing. And I wouldn't even call Persona 3 basic.
Yeah.
I'd say Persona 5 is closer to basic. And I'm only talking vanilla 5, not even royal.
I don't know what's basic about 3 or 5. I don't know what do you think about is basic about 5?
It's a more... It's a more structured and streamlined type of story of just, hey, here's the person doing the bad thing. Let's go stop the person doing the bad thing. With Persona 3, you have, you guys are destroying the shadows, but it's actually helping bring about the ruin of the world, which in turn...
But that comes later. Though.
Yeah, no. But I'm just taking the game as a whole as opposed to something like P5, which is very just streamlined. Here's the good, here's the bad people. Let's send the calling card. Let's stop the bad person. That's the only thing I mean. That is closer to more just a basic story.
But at the end of the day, both of them are defeating a villain.
No, absolutely. I'm strictly talking about the things within it. Is more complex in P3.
He talking about
the problem is, what is he talking about?
People asking folk what their favorite modern Persona game was out of 3. And Persona 3 held a first place spot pretty convincingly, you know.
That's very odd.
2 months ago, when was this video made?
No, I'm not, just the fact that 3 won out.
It's probably people's first Persona, which is very much the Final Fantasy VIIs of it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. It's just the one they remember the most fondly.
People complimenting the story and the characters, which is probably some of the worst I've seen in a fucking video game in a long while. You start the game and you're immediately thrusted into this loud-ass, weirdly composed anime cutscene. It's super obnoxious, and this bitch puts something that looks like a gun to her head, but
it's obnoxious. Why?
Yes.
It's a stylistic choice. Now, sure, some people may find it annoying, but I would like him to explain why it's annoying. Because just some flashing images or text on the screen is not an annoyance to me.
You watch the opening to the game, you know that's not actually a gun, so there's no real suspense. Why is she doing that in the first place? Hello?
Because it's still gun shaped. What if it doesn't work?
She's afraid of what might happen if she shoots herself in the head.
And if you watch the opening, you know that that's not a real gun. What did we see in the opening? Somebody shooting their head and then they start disintegrating. What does that tell us about what that is? And again, we don't even know what that even is. So the mystery is still there. What is she doing? Why is she doing it?
Imagine if you had a knife, a special magic knife, and the only way to use it is to cut across your wrist. Some people are going to be skittish about that, even if they see it works on other people.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Crazy, dude.
Been trying to do here? What was the goal? But suddenly,
the goal was to show that she was afraid, so that when it happens on the rooftops and she loses her evoker, you understand that she's afraid and has yet to pull the trigger literally on her persona.
So this is what we've gotten was, this is annoying. What is she doing? Whatever. Moving on. This is what I was afraid that it was gonna be. Just, I'm gonna say what's going on, and then I'm just gonna make a noise, and that's my point. Not explaining why it's bad. Just call her a bitch and be like, what's she doing?
Why is she doing this? It's not a real gun, you stupid.
Go back to the full thing.
wow. You start the game and you're immediately thrusted into this loud-ass, weirdly composed anime cutscene. It's super obnoxious, and this bitch puts something that looks like a gun to her head, but if you watch the opening to the game, you know that's not actually a gun, so there's no real suspense. Why is she doing that in the first place? Hello? What was she even trying to do here? What was the goal? But suddenly,
what is she doing? Why is she doing? Maybe that's the point. Hey, we know that's not a real gun, so we know that there's no suspense. Comboed into what is she doing?
shit starts getting interesting as this
again. Well, if just sitting there like he believes that to be a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten that it was loud, it was anime-esque.
And obnoxious. And what is this bit doing?
And there's no tension because we don't know it's a real gun. We know it's a real gun. That's nothing that he's saying.
Was the goal. But suddenly, shit starts getting interesting as the scenery around you gets darker and more mysterious.
Oh god, now it's interesting now that it's not this anime weeaboosh.
Yeah, why was it not interesting before if there's a lot of flashing imageries that...
Bright colors, flashing
in quick
imageries.
succession that we don't know exactly what's going on and we can...
But now the sky is dark. so interesting.
Big ass coffins all around. It's a gigantic contrast to the first half, and it's honestly pretty enveloping. You know, but then it's all ruined because literally nothing happens. But then something happens.
Then something does happen. When you want the coffin to pop open frame 1?
Somebody just hop on like, okay, here's exactly what's going on here,
I'm gonna kill you.
Takeba, wait!
But then it stops again.
Did you want it to just go full force?
What game does he like? Because I can't think of many video games that start high and just go higher. No ebbs and flows, no ups and downs, no roller coaster.
We don't have the information about what's going on here.
For this upcoming 40 hours of gameplay.
And you're just like, what's with the stopping and going?
Just go.
And that's it. Every night at midnight, a special 25th
And
hour
see,
of the
that was his critique.
Yes.
That's it. It's stopping and it's starting and that's it. Not comparing it to other things. Not saying why that's bad.
He legitimately could have just been like, unlike something like BioShock Infinite, where it starts and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And then eventually, after this high octane action happens, you start getting the down moments.
Nothing about how it could have been improved. Just saying what happened and letting you come to your own conclusion.
Yo, at this rate, we might actually finish this video.
No, I don't think so.
day called the Dark Hour.
He hasn't talked about anything.
And do you think he will?
He's gonna talk around things that we can actually talk about.
Then
This first 5 minutes was just him going, I play Persona games and here's all these comments and stuff. It's like, and here's anime. What are we gonna do with that?
Only accessible to people who have the potential.
This dude is explaining the Dark Hour to two people who already know that what the Dark Hour is, by the way. Sure.
You know, the Persona users at your school form a group called Seas that explores Tartarus, a tower that forms during the Dark Hour and fights shadows.
Who is this video for?
Potentially people that have yet to play Persona 3.
So why would they watch a video if you're interested in it?
Maybe to get the various viewpoints of, hey, I saw a positive Persona 3 video, now I'm gonna watch a negative Persona 3 video.
But what are you getting from this?
Both sides of the coin. To see
Here's what happened. Make your own conclusion.
by playing the game.
Since your main character's arrival back to your hometown of Tatsumi Port Island, on every full moon, a larger, more dangerous shadow escapes Tartarus, and it's up to you with your newly awoken Persona power to team up with your friends and stop them while exploring Tartarus. And literally nothing else. The gameplay consists of the new
the bush sim dating thing.
Yeah.
Does he mean
Not Nux. What's the big final boss name?
Nye or something like that.
Yeah. That's something else.
That's
Death within a person, the harbinger of doom.
What do you think you do in like a typical third party action game like God of War? You go a place, you solve a puzzle, you beat some enemies, and nothing else.
He's complaining that the story is the story.
Legitimately, it's crazy.
Here's the story. This is the
and the gameplay loop.
It's the Dark Hour and these. Oh, here comes the shadows, and that's it. The story. And again, here is the events. Moving on.
Kratos goes to defeat
pissing me off.
Kratos goes to defeat the gods, and nothing else happens.
Nothing else.
Well, there's quite a bit in between that thing.
Yuna and her party go on a pilgrimage to stop sin, and nothing else happens.
introduced calendar system that the series is known for, where you play out every single day of the year, with you deciding
You don't play every single day of the year, but that's just semantics.
on how you spend your time. Hanging out with friends, studying for exams, playing games at the arcade, or just chilling out by yourself. But during the dark hour, you have the ability to explore Tartarus, where the game turns into a more traditional JRPG with turn-based combat, monsters to fight, experience to gain, and items to find. But before I could even get into the rest of the game, here's the issue with the way the whole game is structured. If big shadows that are integral to the plot only appear during a full moon, and you gotta play out every single day in the month, y'all already see the issue, right? The pacing in this game is practically non-existent, and you're basically...
No, the pacing is dependent on you.
It's whatever you dictate it to be.
If you just want to explore Tartarus to level up and skip literally everything else, you can zoom through getting to the next boss. But again, that's like saying the pacing of any game with boss battles is bad because in the interim of going to the boss battle, you're spending an hour, 2 hours not doing the boss battle.
You can theoretically go to Tartarus every single night. And well, I think there's a couple of times where they're just like, nah, that noise.
They're not available, so we can't go.
And you could theoretically skip it and just do it completely all in one night until you hit that cap where they just go, okay, turn around. It's whatever you dictate it to be. It's not.
I did that a lot. I would the first 2 or 3 days, I would hit the cap. And then I'd spend those nights studying or doing whatever. And then I'd go back after like a week and just go and farm experience and over and over again.
It was near the end. That's when I did my Tartarus. Cause I'm like, I gotta get my social links. And there's no real point in doing it like in the beginning of the month if I'm fusing weak personas. So I just was just like over here. I did it like 2 days before the full moon. One time I stopped and it was just like, oh, you didn't. I was like, oh no.
Forced to play out every day with no goal to tangibly look forward to narratively.
You are looking forward to a goal. The full moon and the
every single month is the goal to look forward to because we know that it's factually coming. At a certain time.
In this screenshot, a day.
They say constantly once you're going to school and stuff, hey, the full moon's coming. That's something to look forward to. They say that. But that's not true at all.
It's legitimately not true.
You also got the burgeoning relationship between the people. Once Aegis comes, it's the shadow hunting robot. So you just go, the big explosion, why they were researching shadows and stuff like that.
The turning of the chairman, the heel turn of the chairman. The other group that is trying to stop you from taking out shadows.
Yukari's dad. So there's a lot to look forward to in this. Like again, this is, it would really help if you knew what games he played
and loved.
Because let's just take Final Fantasy X for example. What is there to look? What would you say is there to look forward to? The next
narratively.
The next temple, getting to sin. There's always something to look forward to in a game. What game doesn't have something to look forward to?
It sounds like if you're not invested in the gameplay loop before whatever next narrative beat happens, that's going to be your problem because you're never going to enjoy whatever is in between narrative beat and narrative beat.
Yeah, that's...
like
it's a slog for you.
Yeah. Because I'd rather be doing the narrative beat.
Sometimes you'll luck out and the game will drip feed you a cutscene in the middle of a month. If you're lucky, maybe you'll get even 2 or 3. But most of the time, they're so poorly written that to me, It just comes across as a cheap setup for a plotline later on in the game, or in most cases, a massive exposition dump where the characters sit around telling each other their backstories and motivations.
It's been almost 14 years since we met at the orphanage.
Dad.
Okay.
She's talking to herself.
Yeah. So he did quite a lot there. He said the exposition thing, and then he also they're poorly written, and even when we do get them, we don't get them, but when we do get them, they're poorly written and they're exposition heavy. And he's gonna show these two things, maybe one or two things more. But like you said, this is her talking to herself
Out loud.
as if people don't do that.
Dude, people feel that Silent Hill 2 is one of the best written video games ever. And the game starts with the guy just talking to himself about the letter he received from his dead wife and going, that can't be, she died years ago of that damn disease.
What did Akihiko say?
It's been 14 years since we met at the orphan. Oh.
You just go back, it's fine. It's been 14 years. Yep. That's not what you said. Oh,
I'm sorry, I missed almost. Wow.
That's not what you said. You gotta be precise. What is wrong with saying that?
What is the next line he says?
This is very disingenuous to just cut it off after one line.
And where are we what would he have liked to have seen us get this information? How would he have liked us to have seen their relationship and when they met and all this stuff? How would he have liked that to have been told?
Since we met at the orphanage.
Dad, this old letter of yours. We must have read it 1,000 times since it came last spring. You see, my parents have an inferiority complex because all my relatives...
They don't know her!
Yes! Tell me about yourself! Oh, my parents! Is he gonna explain, or is it just
No,
gonna
it
be...
speaks for itself. His audience is smart enough.
for himself!
The audience is smart enough to understand what he's going for here.
And yo, that's just the entire story. You're expected to be enveloped in the world presented to you and be interested in what the fuck is going on, but the way the story paces itself, any kind of suspense just deflates until you stop caring completely. So near the end of the...
No,
we're
where
done.
was the suspense
No,
that he
it
talked
does.
about. He talked about the exposition and the characters telling their backstories to each other and their motivations to each other and all that.
He
But
proved
what did
that point,
have
then
to-
he moved on.
What did that have to do with suspense? Unless he's talking about this, but this is near the end of the game. So what are we talking about here?
game when you're supposed to relate to and care for the world and characters you've been interacting with for the past 100 hours, you just can't because...
That's unbelievable. He didn't prove anything about the suspense point. And now we just don't care about the characters.
We don't get story, but when we do get story, it's poorly written and exposition heavy.
With characters just throwing their motivations at each other and backstories.
And then it went into...
But at the end of the game, when the world's in danger, we're supposed to care
There's no
about...
tension.
There's no tension somewhere. Suspense.
And now we don't care about the characters.
Everything in the game so far has been real disconnected. But alright.
Like what? What are you talking about? What has been disconnected?
Everything in the game.
These are the types of videos that, even at the end of the video, even if we give it an 8 or a 7 or a 9, whatever, these are the ones that piss us off. Because the chance is there to explain yourself, and you actively refuse
Nothing's
to do
stopping you. You know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about. You have infinite time. You have infinite resources. You can play the game. You can record the game. You can pull gameplay footage off the internet. But yet you just go this and move. It's trash.
It's cool. You know, maybe the story is kind of whack for 90% of the game. Most Megami Tensei games are still pretty great if you exclude their narrative, I guess. So even if I didn't like the way the game is structured, maybe the way the game plays might be better.
What did he tell us about the way that the game was structured? We don't get a lot of story in between the full moons, but when we do. It's 2 or 3 times, but they're also bad when it happens because of their exposition heavy. And he shows 3 scenes that frankly were cut. One of them was cut off after a single line. One of them was a mother talking to himself, and another one was somebody presumably asking about what is your history. And then he just concludes with, "It is bad."
We're supposed to care about these characters, but we don't.
The conclusion is, it's bad for the reasons that I laid out previously. And now we're moving on to something else. Utter trash.
Right? Alright, so I'm gonna keep it as real as I can be.
As opposed to the stuff before where you were quasi fake about it?
They always have to, you gotta choose your words carefully.
Alright, so I'm gonna keep it as real as I can be. The biggest criticism of Persona 3 I've seen on the internet is that the battle system is not fun.
Pause. Irrelevant. What is your criticisms? That's what we're here for. We're not here for an amalgamation of what other people think, other nameless, faceless people. I don't care what they think because I don't know them. I'm not here for them.
Who is this person whose text is on the screen right now? Where did you pull this from? I don't know. Why should I care?
If they do what? If they do what? I don't know what this is in response to.
I would assume it's about a remake.
Yes, it would have to be.
Contextually, that's the only thing I can think of.
I would not do this. This is a third of a conversation.
No.
And he's just going, look.
We already saw him pull a third of conversations just seconds ago.
And what is the evidence here? What's the argument here? It's bad. It's because Vanilla P3 has horrible battle system. Oh, thank you, person
on internet
saying something for a reason that I frankly don't know why you're saying this, because it's just bad.
The AI don't work properly, and it makes every version of the game that is not the PSP re-release inferior by design.
I think you can control people in FES.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
I'm not gonna
down
that road.
And I gotta say, that shit is probably the most incorrect, stupid ass assertion I ever did see about a video game since y'all motherfuckers try to tell me that this game is good.
Pause. It's goofy that you can't control your party.
No, you can't in FES.
There you go. It's goofy. There are times where feasibly you just be like, I really need a heal. Because if I die, game over.
Yeah. And they don't.
And they just don't. And you just have to hope that they do.
Even if you direct them to heal support, they may go, oh, well, this is a good time to speed up the team.
Or they might be like, oh, this person needs heal. I'm at 50. Junpei's at 20. They need to heal more. I don't know what governs who they choose to heal first,
percentage wise or something.
Yeah, it's and you can just go conserve SP. It's too much. There's no reason why you shouldn't have it. It doesn't enhance the gameplay to go, man, I hope that they do what I tell them to do.
Kingdom Hearts.
But that's all. That's turn-based versus...
I'm strictly talking about the Donald not doing what you want.
But this is not a good take.
And it's even more so because you can direct them to heal, support, or to conserve SP. So why can't you direct them to attack in the way you want, to defend in the way you want, to use the spells that you want?
There's no reason. That just does not seem like
Is he fun. About to say that's the point?
Yes.
Persona 3 introduces a new combat style where all your party members are controlled by an AI independent of your actions, and you, as the main character, command them to try out different tactics, like attacking a single target, focusing on support, knocking down enemies, or standing by until later. And I think that this shit is fucking wicked. The main complaint I see from folk is that the AI don't work, and that's just not true at all.
Pause. There are times where the AI does not work. Like, there are times where you have Mitsuru and we have a ice enemy, an enemy that's weak against ice, and she'll use like Marin Karen or something to try to confuse them. What are you doing?
Even if it is 90% accurate, if it is 100% accurate, it may not be exactly what you want them to do. It could be like
in that moment.
Hey, they did buff me with an attack spell. That's good.
But I needed defense. I wanted defense.
And there's nothing that you can do about that.
Hello? I think the AI in this game works real damn well, almost to a detriment. You set a party member to support, the bitch will fully heal you when you took some like 2-3 damage.
That's not what you want then, is it? If you have diorama, why are you using Dariahan?
Because now we're just eating up SP.
For nothing. Hey, several party members are hurt. Why aren't you using medium?
Why is it just targeting one person? Hey, maybe I don't want you to heal on this little dumb baby match.
I'd rather you wait. So I have to hope the the enemy doesn't use an all attack that'll hurt somebody enough for you to want to go, hey, let me heal everybody. Because I can't command you anymore to go, hey, attack.
In the beginning of the fight, last time, it was an enemy that was just like, okay, you can't do physical attacks, so everybody do magic attacks. So now I've got everybody on set to magic attacks, but now it's the reverse, and I forgot to set everybody off of that, and now they're just getting reflected back.
But that's your problem. That's your issue.
But that's still an issue that is arising from the game.
That wouldn't be present if you could control everybody.
Yes, because as sometimes you just go on a little bit of an autopilot where you just go,
oh, definitely.
Okay, yeah, dumb thing. I'm like 2 levels above you. I don't really need to pay attention.
And then you get wiped out. Oh, it's like, the worst.
Whoops. And if
you hopped up,
you're just not in control and you just forgot. Instead of just going, oh, I just fought this muff. I know he's weak to wind. I know he's going to bounce back lightning. So I know what to do and what not to do because I'm in control.
To knock enemies down, bro will just sit there because he don't got no fucking moves to knock anyone down. He looks so confused. Come on, man. Any issues I got with the AI was always my fault.
Why is that good?
I accidentally changed a person to do something that's not helpful in the moment. Or maybe because I changed someone to only use physical attacks and forgot to change it in a fight where the enemy reflects it.
How is this better than controlling the character that you want in a way that you want?
And you've already mentioned that your characters do things to a degree that is kind of a detriment at times.
Because they're not doing anything.
So you've already admitted that the AI will do things to a degree that you may necessarily not want them to do. Which is a problem.
You mess up and they just stand there. Even if you are controlling them, even if it's just like, Akihiko, he can't do nothing here. He can't attack. He can't do spells, whatever. You can still have him use an item. You can still have him use any kind of support, but he's just standing there because you don't have control of him.
Don't like it, sure, but don't try and tell me to my face that it don't work and expect me to believe that you actually played a damn game. You know, when the shit works, and by that I mean when I remember to set them to the right command, this shit works real damn well. I honestly had a lot of fun with it, and it does something.
How does it work real well? Other than if you set somebody to heal, they will heal you.
Even though you've already said there are times when it's been a detriment. And not because you forgot to set it, just they're using a healing spell.
When you just don't need it like that.
that other modern Persona games neglect to do at all. It contextualizes you as the leader of your group.
That's the point.
That is the point. Hey, leaders can give commands.
Yes. They can freely command people.
Instead of just going, hey, go just beat the shadows. It is, hey, use lightning. Leaders can also do that.
Leaders can give direct orders as well as
General
orders.
Neither is indicative of a better or worse leader.
Games expect me to believe that my character is a leader that apparently the entire party depends on, and that our whole spill relies on.
Hey, you know what you can do? Have them act freely still.
Yeah, you can have them.
You can still have them do those things,
yes,
or direct command. It's an added option. It's not. They didn't even take away the old ones.
It's there if you want to.
My
so now what?
But outside of this game, it's never ever felt that way before. Persona 4, everything around me just kind of...
It never felt like that before in Persona 5.
Even though this is the first game of the modern era, so it wouldn't feel like it before and feel like it after?
I suppose. But in Persona 5, they're constantly like, all right, time to send this calling card, right, leader?
What makes Persona 3 make you feel more like a leader, especially with Mitsuru and Akihiko there?
You tell them to do stuff and they do it. Instead of you...
Narratively, you're not even more of a leader. You're more of a leader in Persona 4 and Persona 5 narratively.
You tell them to do stuff and they do it. Instead of you, the player, telling them to do something. And you can extrapolate that, hey, I'm the leader and I'm telling them to do something. No, directly you're telling them to do something and they're doing it of their own free will because they are humans with
they can
autonomy.
Still do that.
Well, yeah, but it's not set to default.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Default is...
Because you gotta change it every time. No, it's not. Every time you gotta change it when you start a game.
Default is you control it.
No, when you first get a person, it's act freely.
No, in 4 and 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
Default command Persona 4.
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard to find.
Let's just say I'm right.
I'd rather not, but okay.
In games like Persona 5, your main character literally never feels like a leader ever, since you're given several characters that fill that role for you.
In Persona 3! argument! And it really is the Svit argument. But again, that's Persona 3. Mitsuru, Akihiko.
And he says several characters. Who? Makoto, absolutely. Who else could possibly fill that leader-like role? Morgana, maybe, because he knows of Mementos?
What was the Persona 4 argument?
Persona 4, everything around me just kind of happens, and in games like Persona 5...
What do you think happens in Persona 3?
Everything just kind of happens in Persona 4, so you're not really the leader.
This is crazy. Everything he said is applicable to Persona 3.
And everything just happens. And
okay, is he gonna say, but in Persona 3?
Yeah.
And have it be more than you do feel like the leader?
Yes.
Several characters that fill that role for you.
That is
a rip.
Bush. Several characters, of course. Yeah, great.
But in Persona 3, it makes me actually subscribe to the idea that the game is trying to sell me on, and that's something that I can give this game without a shadow of a doubt. Yo, but if we talking about...
Based on what? I knew it was gonna be that. But in Persona 3, I do feel like the leader. End argument.
And cut.
Nothing narratively shown why you would feel that way. Nothing narratively shown you affecting the things around you instead of they just kind of happening.
Hey, these things bad, this thing good. No explanations either way. Straight lying in some ways.
Outside of the tactic system, though, yeah, this shit kind of sucks, bro. I'm sorry. Also introduced in this game is the new Once More battle system, where everybody got resistances and weaknesses. Hitting those weaknesses knocks down.
Hey, wouldn't it be better to use Magaru instead of Garula against 3 enemies right now so you could conserve more SP? Oh, the AI doesn't recognize that thing. They just use the strongest wind attack that they're weak against. Cool.
On an enemy, it gives you the opportunity to act again. Once all enemies are knocked down, you get the chance to do an all-out attack, which is just a big, heavy-hitting attack that hurts all the enemies on the field. You know, it's cool for the first couple times, sure, but, you know, after a while, the monotony of it all really starts hitting about.
Hey, it's cool when you shoot a gun in a shooter, but after a while, the monotony of shooting guns...
It's not about it being cool, it's about being a useful combat thing. I can take all these enemies out without SP. It's not some...
mechanic that's supposed to be unique 40 hours in.
It's a thing that allows me to beat people easier.
10 hours, 5 hours into the game, and it gets real damn annoying.
I mean, if you're talking about just repeating lines in
mechanics
games, you just put down the controller at that point.
I wish you would shut your ass up. Damn, fucking damn much. I'm in pain. Niggas trying to shut up. Shut up.
So basically, for Persona 3, they looked at SMT Nocturne's press turn battle system and saw the fun, fast-paced, engaging, yet challenging gameplay and went, fuck you, this shit is too hard. Let's make it so that the entire game is one-sided as hell. Later on in the game.
You still die a bunch of times.
Yes.
What are you talking about one-sided?
The entire game is one-sided as hell. Later on in the game, because the opening part is not very good. You know, you're just expected to carry the entirety of the first 2 blocks, which makes up the first, I don't know, 20, 30 hours of the game by yourself, which feels like it just lasts forever because...
What are you talking about? What is he talking about?
Made to carry it by yourself. What does he mean? 30 hours? By himself? Just going, oh, I can't rely on Yukari to heal me?
Or Junpei for a big meat stick.
By the normal enemy encounters, every block has a set number of mini-bosses that you fight when you climb higher up the tower. And most of these things are just a toss-up between an easy waste of time or a boss that basically says, fuck you kid, stop playing the game the way you want, have fun figuring out the optimal way to beat me, or just don't play at all.
Like a boss battle?
What did you expect? Oh, this person weak to wind, hit him with wind, hit him with wind, hit him with wind.
So,
all-out attack.
Even though that's monotonous and boring at this point? So now that you've got some challenges, you're like, no!
No, I don't want this challenge. I want a different challenge. What challenge exactly? Oh, like this other Persona. I mean, like this other Shin Megami game. I don't know what that game is to make it more challenging.
Or the mechanics of it and why it's fun and engaging over this.
All I know that this ain't that. And that's your argument.
And so bad.
That lasts the entire game with virtually no real sense of an earnest challenge anywhere at all.
You just got wiped out!
Oh, that's why he said it's an earnest challenge. That is an in-earnest challenge?
I guess so.
Fusion is still a stupid-ass
Oh, moving on! Can I get all of that combat one more time?
What?
Because that's nuts.
Is that you fight when you climb higher up the top. Later on in the game, because the opening part...
Do you need before this too?
Yeah, what was that later on thing?
...play and went, fuck you, this shit is too hard. Let's make it so that the entire game is one-sided as hell later on in the game, because the opening part.
What does he mean by that?
We've already went through this part.
I'm just so confused because there were times where I'm like, okay, here's a person that's gonna reflect fire. Here's a person that's weak to fire, and here's a person that drains fire. I guess I can't use fire. My full on fire.
Yeah, so I gotta use a
Junpei's not here because he sucks.
Boy, he was out of there. Frame 1.
So I can't use that now. So that gives you. And what about the times where? What about the ones where it's just like, oh, this person about to use a whole light thing that's an insta kill.
Hama and Fawn and all
If
that.
you don't have a homunculus to sacrifice itself, you're just dead.
Or
unless
if you
he also
haven't-
means that's what he means by one.
Oh, you know, unearned.
On the other way.
Yeah.
Either we're too strong, or they just one shot us, or
Cry.
or the bosses are just lame.
Not very good.
Not very
just
good.
Expected to carry the entirety of the first 2 blocks, which makes up the first, I don't know, 20, 30 hours of the game by
What
yourself.
the? How did? I
truly-
know we just said
we
this.
just did this. The
But
this
that
is why I
makes
didn't want to go.
it makes no
This
sense.
is why I didn't wanna go back to it.
You're expected to carry it. Aren't you just expected to carry it anyway because you're the only mob that can move? In the way
It
that
feels
you
like
want
it
it.
just lasts forever, because outside of normal enemy encounters, every block has a set number of mini bosses that you fight when you climb higher up the tower. And most of these things are just a toss-up between an easy waste of time or
By easy, I mean literal damage spawn that takes forever to kill for no reason because they're a damage spawn.
things are just a toss-up between an easy waste of time or a boss that basically says, fuck you, kid, stop playing the game the way you want, have fun figuring out the optimal way to beat me, or just don't play at all. And this is an issue that lasts the entire game with virtually no real sense of an earnest challenge anywhere at all. Fusion is still a stupid-ass
And
boring...
do you see all of those absolutes?
Yeah,
those
of course.
totalities?
Of course, that's the way you do it.
Entirety.
None.
mess due to the fact that if you want to get the skills you want on a specific persona, you have to exit the menu and reselect the fusion you want to reroll the skills. This shit wasn't fun in SMT Nocturne, and the fact that this game...
You can also use skill cards to add them if that's what the specific thing you want.
made 4 years later, made zero effort to improve upon it, is fucking insane. You know,
Hey, I
Maybe-
love it and I think it's fun.
Maybe they
what
did
we
not
doing?
see it as a problem that needed to be improved upon. Maybe they were just like, hey, we don't want them just min-maxing a persona in the beginning and just like, this is it for all of it as I've done my perfect persona. Because at a certain point, I had a persona that was just like, I like all of your skills. You giving me what I need. And I ran out of stuff to do at night.
Yeah.
So I just kept going to the arcade and just like, and once you go to the arcade, it's like, do the punching bag. All right, your persona strength raised 3 points. So by like the second to last dungeon, I had a persona that was just basically maxed out because I had nothing to do at night. It was like level 46 and 99, 99, 99. It had cool breeze. So at the end of every fight, it got its SP and HP replenished. It had a really, really good board wiping strike attack. It had a couple elementals. I'm just like, this it?
What do I need anything else
do
for?
I need anything else for? But that again, that is not the way that you are intended to play that. It's not supposed to be this in big Chad persona.
How did you have nothing to do at night?
After I finished Devil Monk, yeah, those are the only 2 months that you can do at night.
But you didn't, your charm was good, your knowledge was good, all that stuff was
yeah,
good.
after a while.
Jesus Christ.
Because if it wasn't for the monk or the devil person, I just went to the arcade and just, you can pick one of those things. It's like, okay, your charm just went up
Man.
a bunch. And it was either, once I finished all of that, and I got completely maxed out, and then I maxed out in Monk and the Devil, nothing to do for months. Months.
Jesus Christ.
So I just went. Cause I'm big into Persona games. It's just like stats number one.
Wow.
So cause there's mobs that are just locked behind charm.
Oh yeah, I am heavy into get those stats up.
That's what I'm doing early.
When I'm at night, I'm like, hey, time to study.
Doing whatever I can to get these stats up.
What book can I buy that'll greatly increase my?
Cause I'm like, I know this Mitsuru is behind smart, so I gotta get brainy.
Fuka's behind courage, like you.
So and I hate missing out because you walk up to them like, yo, we going. Yo, no, wait a second.
Not with that courage.
Not with that.
So now I gotta spend a week and a half just going to eat a Big Bang burger or something just to raise my courage.
I gotta get my charisma up for this fat piece of shit. I'm working for him. Come on.
I don't even like you like that.
What are you doing? I know. So that was my playthrough.
Issues don't really stop later on in the game either. You kind of just get introduced to more party members that make it so that you're not the only one doing work no more. But
what does he even mean? I guess your personas are better than Yukari's and Junpei's in the beginning. But even then, you might not have fire. You might not have wind. You might not have a healing. And even if you do have those things, at least you have somebody else that can also do those things.
There's always the case of you have to do trial and error to figure out what these things are weak against.
Grinding still exists and the obnoxious bosses are still there. It's just slightly more flexible than it was before. And that's not even mentioning the biggest issue I have with the gameplay. And that's been an issue with modern Persona ever since this game came out.
No! Please.
Main character dies, you lose. But then you're the leader.
Yeah,
you're directing them.
You can't do controls if they're dead. So what if you had everybody to wait? What if you had everybody to defend? What if you had everybody to conserve SP and now you're just sitting there watching them as they whittle down this boss that's going to take in 10 minutes to just strike to death. And hopefully at the 9-minute mark, they don't just flat out all die. So now we have to go, okay, but now we can control the people. Or we can't, and it just ends. Otherwise, you're just watching something. You're not playing it.
When your main character dies, it's game over. This is by far the dumbest shit I ever seen in a fucking video game from a ludonarrative perspective.
I agree with the ludonarrative perspective.
In a game like SMT Nocturne or Strange Journey, the game ending when your main character, you know, the one who literally controls all your party members, and without your being there, they'd probably just go step out and do something else. It makes sense that the fucking game ends there.
Aren't you controlling all your party members through your voice and commands? What's the difference? Now you're commanding them, so they can't think freely, really. You're commanding them, but now it's a problem because they should be thinking freely and healing you.
Yes. They should follow your every order, except for when you die, in which case, that's when they go off on their own.
Like this, where losing all your HP is contextualized as being knocked unconscious, where your friends can easily revive you, where these motherfuckers are literally still alive in the fight when the game ends.
So if they are free to act on their own, why are you giving them orders? If they're not free to act on their own, then once you are knocked out, they're going to continue down their path.
Why are you complaining that they're not doing their own thing?
It would have to be a Pokemon too high level, don't have a badge, where, oh, sometimes Yukari's just going to not heal because she doesn't feel like it. Because she has that autonomy. Because she has that choice. But once you're knocked out, oh, now I'm free to act. Not free to act in the way that they wanted to because maybe they had a plan. to take down this enemy that doesn't involve healing them just yet? We don't know. So I don't understand the mindset of, nah, it's cool to only have these people act in the way that you want to, except for when you die. That's when they act in a way to revive you specifically.
Why does it fucking happen? Especially in a game like this where 2 out of the 7 types of magic are instant death. Where moves that instantly kill you if you're inflicted with a status ailment exists. Where bosses can literally one-shot you. Well, fuck it. Normal enemies in the game can fucking one-shot you. This shit don't make sense, and it is really fucking discouraging. Given how much of the game basically makes you grind, this just means whatever monotonous, unfun ass grinding you did on your trip to Tartarus ain't worth shit, because you gotta go back and listen to this stupid ass fucking music all over again.
And he's done with this because it's bad, because
and the music's stupid.
Because they die, and that's my point. Because it's bad that they die. Why does this happen? I'm posing a question without the answer. What would he prefer happen once the main character die?
In a game where you can't control your characters.
Now it's just focus exclusively on reviving him. What happens if they're all confused or scared or something that allows them to not act? There's a lot of things that we need to look at.
I feel like in Persona 3 especially, this argument is terrible because let's say they are all confused. Now your character is dead and you just have to wait for the game to play out before all the rest of them die. You can't control anything. You're literally watching a game for a minute or so until everybody else dies.
Like I said, if it is just conserve SP and they're just whittling it down and you're just sitting there watching them.
John in Tennessee, go ahead. What you want to say?
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
I love that so much. She was spitting and he just went, that shit was trash. Right to her. The music's good.
Yes.
You think it's bad?
I think the only argument that could be levied here, not the only argument, but the most likely argument is that's the battle song, and you're going to hear that battle song when you enter a battle, and you're going to get tired of it because it's 50, 60 hours of that battle song.
I don't even know if that battle song played during boss battles, though.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I wasn't listening.
So it switches up. So that's like any JRPG. You're going to hear the same music anytime you enter a battle. And I love Legend of Dragoon, but you hear the same battle theme, except when a boss battle happens. Wow, JRPGs.
In the game sucks. I'm not even
What?
Trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
So the music in the game sucks.
The music in the game just sucks.
Oh,
statement.
I thought he was gonna. I don't think that it sucks.
What's the argument now?
What's the argument? What are you a music person that can explain why it sucks, or will it just simply come down to I like it, I don't like it?
I'm not even gonna try to hide this one, bro. This shit sucks so badly. My big issue with the sound of Persona 3, on top of the fact that it just don't sound fucking good, is the fact that the songs play every single day.
How are you listening to this song and going, it don't sound good?
Yo.
Okay, do you want them to have 900 tracks that play randomly throughout this time period? Has he played JRPGs outside of... No, because you played the other Shin Megami games. So you've obviously played other RPGs where the music repeats.
But it could be like, it's a lot easier in something like a normal JRPG where you just go from town to town and that town has a specific sound, and then the next town has a specific sound, because this is just the days go repeating, the track repeats, and there is
But then places you go in the town have specific sounds.
Yes.
The mall has a song.
I'm simply making his argument.
It's
for
a
him.
bad argument, then.
It's better than no argument which he's gonna give.
Listen, it's playing a lot.
Okay, yes it is. I like it.
I would assume in a 100-hour JRPG, which is what you said it was, if you have 60 tracks, you're gonna hear some repeated songs. Like da 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 da.
And he's just playing them and allowing you to come to your own conclusion. I like them.
I like the songs of Persona 3. What's the argument now? They sound like trash? Disagree.
I didn't really get tired of them. Now what? Layering them like this doesn't prove your point.
But doesn't it?
You're making it more annoying than it actually is.
This shit like a mix of jazz and hip hop and techno and classical music and
it's great.
Yeah. What's the issue?
Pop, featuring vocals from Yumi Kawamura and the biggest fucking cornball rapper I ever seen in my entire life,
Lotus
Juice.
I'm a spiritual, lyrical, individual, spiritual, miracle, lyrical, individual, spiritual, miracle, individual, skipping and flipping and dipping and skipping and flipping and dipping and illest the killers.
This is going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
The fact that the original game has over 50 songs.
Hey, Lotus Juice bad. I love Lotus Juice. Backside of the TV is a banger.
Backside of the TV is fake.
What are you talking about?
The majority of the game, you're listening to maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 if I'm...
This isn't even the same song that was playing before.
That is a fact. But he is lying about this. There are far more tracks than that.
And far more that play on a typical time.
Yes.
Giving it a little credit, it's insane. On top of the fact that this game's calendar system makes you play out every single day in the year.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It lacks variety, and the shit gets real grating and adds on to that feeling of monotony and the lack of progression I was talking about before.
So if a new song played every 5 minutes, it wouldn't be monotonous.
Or every month.
My favorite things about any Megami Tensei game, Persona or SMT, is just how every single game greets you with a wide and vibrant soundtrack with a very clear direction that serves to enrich the world you're in. This game,
based on what? Can you show some examples?
This is wide and vibrant soundtrack.
Yeah.
You already said that
with a clear direction with the hip hop jazz fusion.
Hip hop jazz, techno, pop, that's pretty wide and various. Let's put so that's over here. That's disproven with a clear direction. We have a clear direction. Techno, jazz,
hip hop.
It's a very chill soundtrack. Yeah.
It's a lot of chill hop.
But then it also once it turns on. But that's with everything. You can't have a battle song with just like Time. Time is such a good song. I don't know if Time is in this one, but it's really
just
good.
Don't do that shit at all. I don't know how to be nice about it. Just fuck.
You don't know how to explain it.
It don't do the thing. This do the thing. This don't do the thing.
That's the video.
Oh, okay, so
game I like do the thing, and game I don't like don't do the thing.
Yes, it do. No.
It sucks. Tartarus is even worse.
Done with point of music.
It stinks, and I don't like
this video sucks.
He's very not good at points and explaining them and doing the thing. We haven't gotten like story yet.
Why do you expect it to be different, dude?
Characters, story.
Don't matter.
We're on
Yukari
Tartarus.
sucks. Aigis sucks.
Social links
suck.
We got 4 main points that we need to hit.
And they suck.
They're better over here.
Single block being a variation on the same song. And honestly, I think
we're not done with music. Hooray.
So it's a variation on the song, so it's not the same song.
It's part of the soundtrack. Persona 1 and 2 have literally some of the best dungeon themes in all of gaming. And that vision, that passion that you feel poured into every single song in those.
Based on what? This just sounds like a bleep bloop to me.
Persona 3 doesn't have passion in their music. It doesn't.
I can't believe
I've made my point. This one does.
Okay.
Listen to it. And now listen to this unrelated Lotus Juice track.
Let's hear the passion that you could just feel here.
Some of the best dungeon themes in all of gaming. And that vision, that passion that you feel poured into every single song in those games is felt.
This sounds like that Marilyn Manson song.
I don't understand the difference.
It's a pretty good song.
It's a good song.
I would not say that a Persona 3 song is passionless, if this is what your argument is.
Now, what Persona 3 song is he going to play in comparison to this?
He's already done it.
Can't say the same shit about this game because the entire time it's just...
It's a dark, dreary beat for a dark, dreary place. You played a techno place in a techno place. Why would he play this song, this dark, dreary beat, when it's a dark, dreary place, as opposed to all the techno stuff, like what he played at the mall, in comparison?
Did you also want techno music? Did you also... What did you want here? What would be better here? If you should be like, okay, let's take this track and put it here as you're exploring the dungeon. Why is this bad?
One of my favorite songs of all time in video games is Truth from Silent Hill 2. And I'm going to play a little of it.
I don't like that song. That was not me just doing that.
And it is literally just a really... like hip-hoppy song, but it speaks to the loneliness and the dreariness of the place.
Why are y'all starring that?
Oh no!
What are you doing?
Racist white men can be gentlemen. Is it that one?
What? What are you doing?
Is it that one?
Leave it.
You know why?
Leave it. They can though. I'm not seeing anybody disprove me.
This is one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time.
Nah, that lacks passion.
And this is basically it. And there's a sad little in the background at one point.
There's no passion there. I've made my point.
Right here. One of the greatest of all time.
No passion.
You use music to fit the mood. It's not hard.
Annoying, but
this guy sucks. This guy sucks.
Hey, that is annoying. Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Simply Dad. That's fine if you think that's annoying.
Again, we say, imagine if Revisited was just this. Just us being able to go, that point sucks.
You step boy, that's annoying. Press play.
Okay, it's fine. I'm chill about it. Ain't nobody praising the fucking gameplay of Persona 3 anyway. And if I didn't like the music, then that's fine. You know, that's just me. People's biggest praise of the game is almost always about the characters. And, gotta say, they probably the worst part about this game, too. Y'all seem to have this assumption.
They probably the worst part about this game, too.
As well.
Which means the characters are also the worst part of the game as well. Now, again, we don't care if people misspeak when you're live streaming or you're off the cuff. There's no problem there because people do misspeak. They do get tongue-tied. Their words do get slurred. They do say the wrong words. They do say incorrect things. When you record, you have so many chances to go back and go, hey, that's not right. Let me correct myself.
That this is the worst thing also. That doesn't make sense.
That since my biggest issue with the characters in Persona 4 was that the development was relegated to the optional social links, that I'd instantly fall in love with the characters in Persona 3 because they actually develop with the story. You know?
They didn't. The whole accepting of the shadow was the development.
Yeah, that was also
outside of the social link.
If anything, the social links are more like optional stuff with Chie.
No, that's what he said.
No, but what I'm saying is that development is like optional stuff, whereas the story stuff is the real big development of the characters accepting themselves and their faults.
I'm like, y'all ever played any other video game?
Metal Gear Solid 3 that doesn't have optional stuff, optional areas, optional people to talk to, optional people to explore.
Hey, Simply Dad, have you played other video games as you're complaining about in music?
Or read a book? Or what?
Reading a book doesn't have you read another book to learn more about that character!
Watched a movie? Consumed literally any other piece of media. Characters are supposed to do this, and just because Persona 3 the only modern Persona game to develop the characters in the fucking story,
Persona 5 develops characters in the story, and Persona 4 develops characters in the story.
Morgana becomes less self-conscious in the story. We see this happen. This is... You're arguing against people who are wrong in their assessment.
Kanji tries to come to grips with his sexuality in the main story. Part of which is the school cross-dressing thing and the beauty contest.
I would prefer that he talk about the characters and not attack the people who are saying that they develop outside of the social links.
It's not a point of praise for the game by any fucking means. What's worse?
It's a point of praise when your detriment is that. Hey, I will praise Persona 3 for doing the thing that other Persona games failed to do, which is develop the characters in the main story.
Even though that's false.
Even though that's false. Even if it's quote-unquote basic storytelling, it did a thing that the other ones didn't, so it gets praised for that. Not in the general sense of praising it simply for doing the thing, but because it did the thing where the others didn't. That would be why you would praise the thing. But you're wrong in your assessment of what happens in the other Persona game, so it doesn't matter.
What's worse is that the character development in the game is all really stilted and awkward. I already mentioned before that a lot of the cutscenes in the game are just exposition dumps and shit, or blatantly explaining the motivations of the main characters. None of that shit ever feels genuine or natural or real. And honestly...
Yep, none of it. Not a single second feels.
You mean like
natural,
Ava
genuine,
coming
or
on to Snake in Metal Gear Solid 3 constantly? I guess her just unzipping her shirt feels natural.
What's wrong with the Chidori and Junpei slowly opening up and
because no woman acts like that. No person acts like Chidori acts.
Here comes an example.
You do. Yeah, sure, an example, and then another example, and then moving on.
Fault of the poor writing and even worse voice acting.
Dad? Dad? Daddy?
Oh my god, he's fucking dead, yo.
Nice, Hee-Ho!
Yeah, thank you for the fall. I thought he was fucking Stereo. What the fuck? You got characters.
So I can just show something and laugh over it, and then that's bad.
Say it's bad.
And then that means that it's bad.
Like Junpei, who got the issue of being a real good character with a really good voice actor, but they're too busy being the butt end of every joke that their development just comes and goes whenever the plot needs it. You got this great arc where he's initially spiteful of your protagonist because you're assigned leader over him, and that feeds into his inferiority complex that's caused by family troubles that aren't really brought up until late into the game, which is something that seems to just get resolved out of nowhere. But then it gets
it doesn't. In one of the full moons, he rushes forward and has to be saved.
I think it's like the third one, maybe second.
And literal months later, and I'm like,
okay, so I straight up just mixed up Junpei's arc in the game with one in the movies. So I'm just wrong here. And now that I know, I think the game handled the character well.
Hey, take this part out.
Take the entire part out. Instead of adding this part.
Instead of being wrong for 40 seconds, and he'd be like, I'm alright, y'all.
I was wrong. How about you just take this entire part out?
How long did it take you to edit that scene, record it and edit it, versus putting this up? The editing had to take as long as it does to record it. So just re-record it and keep the editing.
Or just take the entire Junpei part out.
Or just take it out.
Don't even do anything new. Just take that section out.
What's the process of writing this? Or was it written? If he's mixing up an arc in the...
It was definitely written, but it was written from his memory more than likely, as opposed to playing the game, writing down his thoughts, and then extrapolating those thoughts into a full script.
So surely it had to be when he was just like, they go back on it later, and he just didn't have the footage. Because I was reading, I'm like, what the
So here's the question. Do we want to finish this video today? We have 16 minutes left. We are 20 minutes in. We are done an hour and a half.
16 minutes.
We could probably get this done in 3 hours.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Depending on what he says next, we could just cut it off here and then finish it up next time.
Junpei got it rough, man. A lot of people like to praise his relationship that's developed with Chidori throughout the plot, which I could kind of see the praise for, since the idea of a party member developing a relationship outside the cast that they can bounce off of is something.
People praise the Junpei Chidori. He has shown that he's willing to put up arguments that people have made. Why didn't he do that in order to be like, here is why people like this relationship?
Because then he could just say it.
That we don't see at all in modern Persona. But when you look back and realize that the whole crux of their story happens in literally 4 cutscenes of them awkwardly talking to each other with that staple awkward dialogue.
It's no big
deal.
It's them talking to each other and then him being worried about her in the hospital. Which is more cutscene. Even more cutscenes than this. Also, she is an awkward speaking girl. So to show her awkward dialogue means absolutely nothing.
I only draw because I like to.
Pause. What's the problem with that line? I saw no problem with it.
Oh, yeah?
Still, I'd like to see it when you're done, okay?
What's the problem?
But then this bitch...
What's the problem?
Literally, what's the problem?
I don't understand what the problem. Oh, but now she's a bitch.
But then this bitch literally kidnaps him and tries to force him into canceling y'all's operation. And we supposed to believe both of them still got any kind of feelings for each other?
Why wouldn't Junpei?
Yes.
Like, and she has conflicted feelings. Otherwise, she wouldn't. You know what? Just let it go.
Chidori flip-flops back and forth so much before her character is killed off. It's not done with any kind of decent...
It's not a flip-flop back and forth.
It is a forward progression.
She's coming to terms with it. They say, hey, no. And she goes, nah, kinda, Junpei.
There's the confusion over the human emotions and oh, somebody's actually caring about me and worrying about me and what the f is going on. There is no, you. Without intervention from the other people.
Or grace. So it, like everything else in the game so far, comes off feeling real rushed and especially weird.
This takes quite a while to develop. It's over months.
Yeah. This can't be happening. And we're done. And curtain down.
Chidori, answer me!
And you can actually save her in Persona 3 Portable and
whoops.
FPS. Chidori. Oh, you didn't save?
No, I looked it up.
Okay, okay, just making sure.
Cowards to just go, people's waifu, let her live. It's fine.
The game kind of does this where it shoves these deep and sad moments in front of your face and expects you to feel some type of way about it. But these things just aren't done real well at all. And again, the shitty voice acting.
So her father, whom she's had a rocky relationship with and never really patched it up, sacrificed himself for her, and she's crying over it.
Imagine thinking Akihiko's voice acting is trash. Imagine thinking Mitsuru's voice acting is trash.
But you can just say that, and then you can just play a line that sounds kind of clunky, and then be like, that's your point, as he's about to do as you click the button.
Don't really help.
I was so focused on fighting that I didn't notice
So
anything
focused
else.
on being strong, because at one point, because at one point I wasn't strong enough, but now I wanted to be strong. But look, I'm not even strong enough. Wait, listen to this. Listen to this.
That's bad. That's bad. But you got 3 lines that were delivered. I mean, 2 lines that were delivered well and 1 line that was delivered poorly. And your only thing is, I'm
crying about not being
because
tough.
I'm not strong, and that's your only thing that you can talk about with that.
Come on, bruh. A lot of the female.
Come on, bruh. That's the entirety of the argument. Look at this and come on, bruh. Cool. You're really proving your point.
Yeah. End of part 1.
This is ridiculous.
This is real bad, y'all.
Muffs can't critique. I don't understand it.
It's not hard. Just explain what you mean. Don't just show things and chuckle. Don't just say it's bad. Just listen to this. It's bad. All the vibrant sounds of this, and now listen to this.
I don't know what this girl is doing. What's going on? Oh, is this a bad thing? If it is, explain why it's bad.
Because of the suspense. Because we know it's not real good.
Man.
Yeah.
Muff can't talk about Persona at all. Plus, we got a P4 video on the horizon.
God, what are we doing?
And then that Final Fantasy X, that's also
long. Why can they pick nice, concise 14-minute video?
But that comes at a later time.
Alright. Pre-woo.
Goodness.
Ugh.